this segment I wanted to dedicate to looking in a bit more in depth on BlackRock and their spending. This comes off the back of a FOI request that I put in very recently, back in January, to ask why did Keir Starmer and Larry Fink from BlackRock meet? What was it they discussed? And I wanted to really leave this towards the end. I've got the link double, but we'll get to this. But firstly, what is BlackRock? Obviously, we hear about them quite a lot. They're a massive topic or massive organisation that's the forefront of most topics in the online community. But what exactly are they?
As I understand it, they're an asset management firm.
Yes, and they're responsible for managing investments on behalf of individuals, institutions and governments, to which they have substantial amount, $11.6 trillion. This was very recently, a month ago. So they're a pretty big deal when it comes to money and everything like that. It's overlooked by a man named Larry Fink, who's the chairman and executive officer, where he and 7 partners founded the company back in 1988. So what have they invested in? So we can't go through every single one. Obviously, we'll be here all day. So I've split this into different segments just to understand some of the stuff that they do. First one is all about ESG, so environmental social governance. And for those who don't know what that is, it's a kind of framework used to evaluate a company's ethical impact or sustainability within their company.
Yep.
Environmental, focusing on the impact of nature and carbon emissions.
Are you net zero?
Are you net zero? Exactly. Social.
Are you woke?
Are you woke? And governance, which is, are you sticking to that regulation, essentially? And this article, published back in 2018, titled "Does Wall Street Finally Care About Sustainability?" Features a letter by Larry Fink, to which he says, if I go down, should be there. Well, it's definitely in there. But it says, quote, "Society is demanding that companies, both private and public, serve a social purpose. To prosper over time, every company must not only deliver financial performance, but also show how it makes a positive contribution to society." Doesn't sound sinister at all, really, but it is.
I was going to say, why is he the guy who gets to decide? Well, he's the guy with all the money.
Exactly. But there is a white pill to this, because they have been receiving a lot of pushback, where the big companies such as BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street and others have been sued by Texas and 10 other Republican-led states, to which has said the large asset managers violated antitrust laws through climate activism and reduced coal production and boosted energy prices. So they were sued by state and 10 others, which is pretty good.
I'm sure they can take it though.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a French article, but it translates to basically, it's hilarious how these green extremists seem to think that BlackRock is on their side. So they're like, yes, just because they invest in the stuff that we believe in, they must be on side.
Yeah.
But they recently accused BlackRock of, quote, greenwashing. It's a bit awkward.
Can't believe the predatory capitalists.
Yeah.
Being honest.
Yeah.
You'd have known greens, eh?
Yeah. It says an environmental organisation called Client Earth filed a complaint against BlackRock, accusing the firm of misleading investors by labelling certain funds as sustainable while maintaining significant investments in fossil fuel companies like Shell. Interesting. They have ties as well to the Federal Reserve. Have I got?
Ron Paul's favourite.
It's on that.
It's all good.
Try now.
There we go. We've skipped ahead a little bit, but that's okay. Just looking for the ties to the Federal Reserve one. Perfect. But they have ties to the Federal Reserve. So during the pandemic in 2020...
Samson proving himself to be a robot there.
So during the 2020 pandemic, the Reserve enlisted BlackRock to manage several emergency lending programs aimed at stabilizing financial markets. So had a massive hand in the pandemic and, of course, controlling the markets then, because obviously they can.
Yep.
But there are also other investments as well, which are a bit dodgy. So I'm dedicating an entire segment about investment in war and weapons, where BlackRock has shares in grade D for weapon investments, noting that 3.18% of its assets under management are invested in military contractors, including those in nuclear and controversial weapons. So not only are they into environmentalism, apparently, and fossil fuels, but also nuclear weapons.
What are controversial weapons? I don't want to derail the segment.
No.
It's just seems like
I would
an
have
interesting,
thought
White,
controversial.
white phosphorus, depleted
Yes.
uranium, cluster munitions, landmines.
Yeah. So pretty big stuff.
Controversial stuff.
Very.
Glad they're the guys overseeing the ethical conduct of
Yes.
companies.
We're saving the planet, but also we've got white phosphorus under our belt. Mental.
Might need it, I guess.
Indeed. Big investment in Lockheed Martin,
Oh, yeah.
which is one of the biggest. In July 2024, BlackRock owned approximately 18.5 million shares of Lockheed Martin, representing 7.79% of the company's total shares outstanding. So they're a significant stakeholder in that. Other ones, there's obviously a list of the top holdings. That's from BlackRock themselves.
General Electric, Raytheon, Lockheed, Axion.
All the big ones.
Yeah.
So that's definitely worth keeping on record and having a little look. There's also Ukraine. They have a collaboration with Ukraine where BlackRock had been instrumental in assisting the Ukrainian government. In May 2023, Ukraine's Ministry of Economy signed an agreement with BlackRock's Financial Market Advisory to provide support services for the Ukraine Development Fund. The primary objective of this fund is to attract both public and private capital to finance large-scale business projects, essential for Ukraine's economic recovery. So they're the ones that are going to rebuild Ukraine.
So they're going to turn Ukraine into an economic colony of the West.
Yes, essentially.
I'm sure they'll enjoy their McDonald's.
Here's where things get a bit... we're going a bit too far. There's another one on China here to do with the CCP. Here we go. That's the one. But without controversy as well, a committee was held in 2023 on BlackRock's involvement with China, or the Chinese Communist Party, and found that BlackRock had channeled 1.9 billion into blacklisted entities,
Really?
including companies that are accused of violating human rights and aiding the People's Liberation Army.
Amazing that's allowed.
Yeah. And yeah, it's all here, which is pretty insane. So reading that, I was kind of
That's on their own website as well.
Yeah.
That's on their press releases on their own bloody website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty bad.
Mental.
Yeah. So they have their hand on a lot. Next, we have our favourite philanthropist,
Yes, Mr. Gates.
Mr. Gates, which is a
Who
big
brought
topic.
Malaria back to Florida.
Indeed. He has collaborated.
I'm joking.
Didn't know that, actually.
They released a form of mosquito.
Oh, is
Florida.
that the... Yeah, I think I did read about that.
The mosquitoes, they're meant to be like sterilized or something, so
Right.
they breed with them and they don't produce fertile offspring. But what it also did is just brought malaria back to Florida, I think it was.
Who thought that was a good idea?
Well, Bill Gates.
Indeed. He has collaborated with BlackRock on initiatives such as climate change, but he's also been very involved with AI and investment in global AI infrastructure.
Can't wait to get hold of Bill Gates' AI.
Yeah, indeed. And the facial recognition and everything.
Yeah.
All ties in. Another one, CBDC. BlackRock is very much involved with that too.
So what's CBDC?
So central bank digital currency,
Oh,
so
right,
going
yes.
cashless, and programmable currencies.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. There was, I should have included the article actually, the Telegraph wrote a report about ministers talking about programmable currencies and how, you can choose what someone can spend their money on, which is not sinister at all.
I mean, it literally will be able to be that this money is only for these products.
Yeah.
So, great. What's the point in even having the money?
And it's for all the quote-unquote conspiracy theories and all the topics all shadow around this particular investment company as well. So, yes, BlackRock has shown a strategic interest in digital currencies and blockchain technology. Though it's not directly invested, Larry Fink has expressed support for the development of a US digital currency utilizing blockchain and predicting its adoption in the near future. So that was April last year.
It really is going to be, sorry, you're not allowed to buy this thing
Yeah.
because you tweeted the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You're considered, you're on a list, you're on a non-crime hate list.
Yeah, prevent.
Therefore,
come
yeah.
around.
It's not even that prevent will come around. It's just you won't be able to buy a train ticket to this.
Yeah.
Place, just like the Chinese
Yeah.
It's
system.
gonna be debunked.
It's no, they won't even do that. They will just you've got loads of money in your account, you just can't spend it.
Yeah.
So it can be
What
restricted.
do you want to spend it?
Well, I'd like to travel.
You're gonna have people asking you, why do you want to spend it? Do you really need it?
No, it'll just be denied. You won't be allowed to buy that ticket to go to this place. That's what they're going to end up doing, just like the Chinese.
Super sinister.
Yes.
Another interesting topic: geoengineering. I don't know if you guys know much about this.
I've covered this a little bit as well.
Yeah?
Because the UAE and Bahrain and places like that, they use this all the time because of course they live in deserts.
Yes,
So getting water out of the air is a good thing.
indeed. They've invested in something called direct air capture or technology, which is very new to me.
I've not
The air
I know
has been captured.
I know about stratospheric aerosol injection, and that's obviously like cloud seeding and putting sulfates up into the atmosphere. But DAC, it's called, or direct air capture, is a joint venture with petroleum or Occidental Petroleum to aim to remove 500,000 tons of CO2 annually from the atmosphere. Yeah. And
Isn't
it's
CO2 what the plants use to breathe?
yeah.
Okay.
It's a main component of life on Earth.
I'm not a scientist or anything, but I remember my GCSE science.
And they've pledged $550 million to develop this.
And that's going to cool the planet, is it?
Yeah, apparently so. Because Al Gore is still shadowing over people's minds.
Thing is, it's winter here in the northern hemisphere, and I'm not sure I want it. No.
I want, want a bit of global warming.
Yeah, I'm not terribly against it. Anyway, moving on.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, as we know, they're firm. They have firm regularly reviews, job postings for biased language, ensuring that diverse candidate slates and employees are given competency-based approach to interviewing and various others. So they're very much big on the DEI.
Yep.
Although there is good news, because the partnerships have actually gone down.
Oh, really?
Which is really great. And this was the 20th of February, so I think this is to do with Trump. Or it must
could well be, yeah.
Investor interest in diversity-focused funds has waned, with global withdrawals of nearly $380 million in the past year, and the trend reflects the shifting regional attitudes towards DEI investments, particularly in the US. So I believe that is because of Trump. It must be.
So, yeah.
And there's other topics such as agriculture. This has been shared about. This is an old one from 2007, where in 2007, BlackRock announced plans to launch a £100 million hedge fund aimed at acquiring farmland across the UK, intending to capitalise on rising food prices.
See, this is what makes Keir Starmer meeting with Larry Fink all the more sinister.
Yes.
Meets with Larry Fink, suddenly there's inheritance tax on the farmland, suddenly people are going to have to sell their farms rather than pass them down, and suddenly BlackRock gets to buy up all our farmland.
Exactly.
I mean, I just don't think it should be allowed.
No, I agree.
Just prohibit it.
So in 2013, BlackRock shifted its strategy and began divesting from UK agricultural assets, and this is a particular one in 2012 where the firm sold a 992 acre farm in Lincolnshire for a price significantly above the listed value. However,
who? Right, doesn't say.
I don't think it says. According to Stratton Parker, the broker that's handling the sale, asking a price. Martin Robinson's chairman of Brooks MacDonald Funds, which manages £300 million and owns 3 smaller farms. Interesting. But whilst that is the case, there's even the Morning Star talking about BlackRock.
Anyone who's not aware, that's a communist paper.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
I
thought that they were quite mainstream.
Socialism.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're communists.
Oh, they're massively communist.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Interesting.
It says they're for peace and socialism.
Claudia Webb. I recognise that name.
Yeah. She's the Labour MP.
Yes.
Yeah, she's insane. Is she the one who threatened to ask?
Yes.
Right.
We'll take this one with a pinch of salt then.
To be fair, this is probably one of the few things she's going to actually be good on, which is I hate international actions. So,
Well, there's a potential interest in BlackRock re-entering the UK farmland market.
Yep.
So that's very interesting. The communists are actually talking about that as well. Interesting. So my point is as well, when we see this tweet that came out, I think we all jumped on this and said, hang on a minute, this is a very bad idea. When
I think I'm the first reply, or I was one of the first replies.
Everyone tweeted.
Yeah, you can see everyone in there just oh God. Just look at the state of it. But anyway,
yeah. So when we see stuff like that, and Keir Starmer openly saying that he wants to deliver growth, create wealth, and put more money in people's pockets, and then says BlackRock is the ones to do it, we're all going, we're definitely being sold out.
Yes.
But the problem is with this meeting is they didn't disclose exactly what they were talking about. So I put in a request to try and figure out what was it that they were talking about, and all they gave me, unfortunately, was the basic outline of the agenda, to which Starmer wasn't even present to the first 25 minutes of. They have 25 minutes of informal discussion, 5 minutes of opening remarks, 25-minute round table with Starmer and Fink, and then 5-minute closing remarks. They refused to disclose this, citing Section 35(1)(a) of the Freedom of Information Act, which is policy formulation, claiming that disclosure would harm policy discussions.
Well, I mean, it probably would. People would know what their plan was and not be happy with it.
And commercial interests, arguing that it could harm BlackRock's business interests, the most successful management.
So basically, the thing is, what you can read between the lines there.
Yeah.
It's okay, well, look, this will harm the government because we're going to be selling a bunch of UK assets to BlackRock. And if we tell you, BlackRock might not buy them, which will harm their business interests.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And it raises, serious questions. What exactly was discussed? What do they not want the public to know? Was taxpayer money or UK financial regulations part of these discussions? And why does protecting BlackRock's commercial interests take precedent over public transparency?
We need to protect our transparency.
Yeah, indeed. But I've filed an internal review into this particular request to try and figure out if we can push for at least an idea of agendas on what they were discussing, but I have to wait another 20 days or 20 working days, unfortunately. But yes, that's it.
If you would like to watch the full uncut version that is also uncensored, head on over to lotuseaters.com to find out more.